Tell me this, ever been stuck in a room where everyone's acting like the world is ending over a game, and you're just nodding like a bobblehead, hoping nobody asks you to name a single player? You know that weird pressure to pretend you care so you don't look awkward? That's exactly why the title and thumbnail hit so directly. They call out people who feel judged for not worshiping sports the way everyone else does. But here's the twist most people never hear. The science says you might actually be the balanced one in the room, the person who doesn't get swept up in group hype, who stays steady, who actually thinks for themselves. So stick around, because by the end of this, you'll understand exactly why sports don't hook you, and why that might be one of your biggest strengths. You ever notice how some people treat their favorite team like it's their entire personality, while your identity comes from stuff that actually matters to you? Your goals, your passions, the things you think about when your room isn't shaking from people screaming at a TV. And yeah, it can make you feel out of place when everyone's bonding over the same replay for the 10th time, and you're standing there like, so we're really connecting over who tossed a ball straighter today? But here's the irony. Everyone thinks you're the one missing out, but psychology says you just connect differently, at a level that isn't built on hype or noise. And wait till you hear the personality traits tied to this, because that's where the whole picture really clicks. And this is where it gets interesting, because people who don't obsess over sports usually share a very specific set of traits. You might be someone who's naturally introspective, the type who thinks before jumping into the excitement. Or maybe you're high in openness, so your brain lights up more for new ideas, creativity, or deep conversations than anything happening on a scoreboard. Some people like you are wired more analytically, so the whole blind loyalty to a team thing just doesn't compute. And here's the part nobody talks about. Feeling out of the loop during sports talk isn't a weakness. It just means your curiosity runs deeper than small talk. But wait till you see how this shapes your emotional wiring. That's where everything starts making sense. Emotionally, people who aren't sports-obsessed run on a different kind of energy. You're not built for those loud, adrenaline-heavy moments where everyone's yelling like their paycheck depends on a touchdown. You prefer environments where you can actually breathe, think, and stay in control of your emotions instead of riding a wave of group intensity. And that's a skill. Your brain doesn't chase hype for validation. It looks for meaning, calm, and genuine connection. That's why huge, high-stimulation moments don't pull you in the way they do other people. But here's the plot twist. This emotional style shows up in your relationships in ways you might not even notice. And that's where things get really interesting. Because this is where it really shows up, your relationships. When you're not a sports-obsessed person, friendships and dating can feel a little weird sometimes. Everybody else is bonding over scores, rivalries, fantasy leagues, and you're sitting there like, can we talk about literally anything real? But the upside people overlook is that you bring a totally different kind of connection. You're the person who asks deeper questions, who listens, who doesn't need noise or hype to feel close to someone. And that independence, it can make your relationships stronger and way more genuine, the kind of relationships that don't collapse the moment the scoreboard changes. But there's one final shift, how all of this turns from an insecurity into actual confidence, and that's where it all comes full circle. So here's the part most people never realize. Everything you've ever felt insecure about actually points to strengths you didn't even know you had. Not obsessing over sports doesn't make you odd, detached, or out of the loop. It means you think for yourself, connect on your own terms, and don't rely on hype to feel included. That's emotional independence. That's self-awareness. That's knowing who you are without needing a jersey to broadcast it for you. And the moment you stop apologizing for it, that's when it turns from a worry into a superpower. Because trust me, there's a whole world of people wired just like you. And once you understand this about yourself, a lot of things in your life, from your friendships to your confidence, suddenly start making way more sense.